Chapter 17. When they got to the tavern, Max slipped behind the bar to get them both drinks and then found them a table in the corner. He placed her drink in front of her. Shirley Temple, with extra cherries. My favorite. Kayla exclaimed. He grinned. I think I knew that. Looking out at the dance floor, he smiled. I think we picked a good night for this. Almost no one is here, and we can dance the night away. Sounds good. Kayla bit her lip. Would you mind if I checked in on crypto? I promised myself I wouldn't, but I'm worried Amanda has a mess on her hands and doesn't know what to do about it. Max frowned at her. Why would I mind? I'm surprised you've held out this long. Call. Make sure he's still kicking. I will. Kayla picked up her phone, tapping her sister's name. I just need to know he's okay. Max couldn't hear what Amanda's response was, but Kayla rolled her eyes. No, I don't think he wants to talk to me. Don't be a pain. I just need to know he's okay. Is he eating? There was a pause as she listened. All right. I'll get there when I get there. Kayla hung up and looked at Max. My sister is rude and sarcastic. Amanda? That doesn't sound like her. You don't know her like I do. Kayla sighed dramatically. 4 sisters, and not a normal one in the bunch. That's certainly true. She's your sister, not mine. Do you have any siblings? Kayla asked. I know your dad raised you by himself, but did your mom have more children? I really don't know. Max didn't want to talk about it. Do you have a way to get in touch with her? Nope. He got to his feet and took her hand. Let's dance. He walked toward the dance floor and pulled her into his arms. There were a few people sitting at the bar, and a couple of tables were occupied, but the dance floor was empty. The song was a slow one, and he hoped she'd know he didn't want to talk about his mother anymore. He felt like she'd been the topic of conversation all day. When the song was over, he led her back to the table. Apparently, Kayla didn't get the hint. What's her name? She asked. Your mom, I mean. He sighed. Why is this so important to you? Family is the most important thing to me. You don't have one, so I feel like I should help you mend bridges. She covered her hand with his. I won't push you, but if I can help in any way, I'd like to. He shrugged. I'll think about it. He wouldn't. He couldn't stand to think of his mother off with her perfect life back east, while his dad had loved her with everything inside him. Sometimes he felt like his father had blamed him for his mother's abandonment. The whole situation had made him crazy for years, and he didn't want to think about it anymore. That's all I ask. Kayla smiled sweetly at him, and the small amount of anger he'd been holding over the topic melted away. She really did care about him and want what was best. Never had he met someone who seemed to genuinely have his best interests at heart like she did. He quickly changed the topic. Do you have plans for Saturday? I have a whole day off, and I thought I could have you and Crypto over to dinner. An invitation for my kitty and me? Well, no one has ever invited him anywhere. This is exciting. She gave him a silly grin. I'll have to ask Crypto. He doesn't say yes to just anyone. Oh, of course not. How could he? Sounds good to me. Would it be easier if I cooked at your place instead of mine? Yes, if you wouldn't mind. Then I wouldn't have to lug him and all his stuff over. You know, for a tiny little kitty, he does have an awful lot of stuff. Only what he needs. Kayla crossed her arms over her chest. You think I spoil him, don't you? Oh, no, not at all. I saw dozens of people at the fair today with their kittens in backpacks. It's just normal. She stuck her tongue out at him and turned her head away. He's had a tough life. Of course he has. He lost his mother and all his siblings, and he's been really sick. I'm not faulting you for spoiling him. I think everyone should spoil the random half-dead kittens they find places. You're kidding, but I think they should. Why would we let a life be over when we have the capability of saving it? People don't care enough, and they should. I agree with you. I don't know that I would have ever considered taking a kitten who needed to be bottle-fed into my home and caring for it around the clock the way you have, but I would definitely do it now. If I had the means to do it, that is. I'm not really home enough. You would? You don't hate crypto? Her eyes had tears in them as she asked the question. Why would you think I hated crypto? Of course I don't. He's a sweet little guy, and I can't help but love him. Maybe not as much as you do, but I love him. You're the best guy I've dated all week. He frowned at that. All week, huh? You make me sound like a real prize. Oh, you're definitely a prize in my book. 150%. Never in his life had he known a woman who teased half as much as Kayla did. He knew it must be from having such a large family. He'd seen the sisters tease each other more than once. It seemed to be their norm. I'm so proud to be that guy. You really should be. She drank the last of her Shirley Temple and handed him the empty glass. Are you feeling peckish? I know we ate a big meal, but that's been minutes ago, and I'm already starving again. Then I should round up some chicken fingers. Or would you rather I had Bob make us some fried cheese curds? We could have both, couldn't we? He laughed, walking toward the bar. Leaning onto it, he said, Bob, the lady just finished her supper, but she's hungry again. Would you make us an order of chicken fingers and another of fried cheese curds? I'll get our refills. Sure, man. Sounds like she's a bottomless pit. Oh, she is. Trust me. Asterisk. Kayla looked at Max sadly, wishing she could convince him to contact his mother. For all he knew, he had dozens of siblings out there, wanting to love him. If they only knew how to find him. She would try to figure it out on her own using court records of his parents' divorce, but she'd see how that went. And of course, she'd have to do it without him knowing, because he didn't want her meddling. Well, he didn't think he wanted her meddling. Truly though, he had to want her to help him with this. Who wouldn't want to know if they had brothers or sisters? He came back with their drinks, and she accepted hers with a smile. Thank you so much. The extra cherries you always add make my heart sing. He laughed. You're a silly woman, Kayla. Maybe, but I do like cherries. She took a large drink of her Shirley Temple, watching him over the rim, wondering what he was thinking. The look you're giving me is kind of scary. Maybe you should tone it down. Why is it scary? He asked. I didn't mean to give you a scary look. I don't know why it's scary. You're the one with the look. He shook his head. I'm not sure why I go out in public with you. Me neither. I really am more the kind of girl you leave at home wearing her tool belt, but you asked me to dinner, and I accepted and found a kitten sitter and everything. She grinned at him. What time on Saturday? I'll get there around 5 to start supper. I'm not sure what I'll make yet, but it's going to knock your socks off. Sounds good to me. I like being barefoot. Dance with me. You don't make me as crazy when we dance. I make you crazy? Then why are you here with me? She asked. She wasn't sure if it was a good crazy or a bad crazy, but she didn't want to make him any kind of crazy really. She'd been channeling Lauren all night and feeling free. She really needed to go back to being Kayla. Because you make me crazy in the best way possible. He pulled her close and started swaying to the music with her. Oh? Good crazy is acceptable, I guess. Kayla rested her head on his shoulder as they danced, loving how close to him she felt. I hope so. Now hush. I'm making all my best moves on you here. Kayla resisted the urge to retort to that, and instead, she got quiet. When the song was over, she smiled. Nice moves. Yeah, right. If I had any real moves, then you'd understand why what I said is so funny. Think our food is ready yet? She asked. I'm kind of starving here. Have you had a doctor's appointment lately to talk about how much you eat? He asked. She shrugged. My mom was like this, and so are my sisters. It's a family thing. She frowned at him. Should she pretend that she didn't eat much? Was he turned off by the amount of food she consumed? She knew some women would just peck at salads on a date, but she was hungry. Why shouldn't she eat? All right. I'll keep that in mind. He led her back over to the table and watched as Bob plopped the plates down in front of them. Need anything else? He asked. Kayla looked at the food. Can I get ranch to dip the cheese curds in? And maybe a little more gravy for the chicken fingers? And I seem to need a new drink. Shirley Temple with extra cherries, please. Oh, you've got a heavy drinker here, Max. Better watch out. Yeah, she drinks like I do. I'll have another Dr. Pepper. On my way. Bob hurried back to the bar to get everything they'd asked for. Nice guy. Yeah, I find that Bobs tend to be nice. They're a different breed than most men. He shrugged. I'm naming my oldest child Bob. What if it's a girl? She asked, frowning at him. Then I'll name her Roberta. See how flexible I am? Max reached over and took a fry from the basket with the chicken fingers. I'm not even hungry, and you have me sitting here eating with you, because you can't seem to stop eating. I can stop. I just don't want to stop. Didn't you see me stop after Cooper's until just now? You paused between Cooper's and here, but you've been eating cherries since you got here. There was no stop. She shrugged. Do my eating habits really offend you so much? Not that she was going to change for him. Why would she? They do. I just can't handle how much you eat. You're going to explode, and then where will we be? I'll have to hire professional cleaners to clean up my bar. He shook his head. That would not please me. Well, we can't displease you, so I'll try to keep from exploding, and I'll just eat when you're not looking. I'm not sure that's going to help a whole lot. Well, you can stop worrying about it. I've never exploded before. Maybe next week it'll happen, but this week is probably safe. Max shook his head at her. Where is the serious girl who is always worried for her kitty? I left her with my sister and the kitty at home. I'm trying not to think about it. Kayla shook her head. Constantly worrying about kittens has got to be annoying. Max waited while Bob put the food on the table and took her hand. You don't annoy me about the kitten. I admire you for it, because you are wholeheartedly devoted to him. How could I not be impressed with that? I don't know. It's just a little strange to be so obsessed, and I know it. He is pretty special to me. He's a special kitten. And you've done a great job keeping him alive. I'm impressed. Well, I'm still doing my best not to talk your ear off about him. He just smiled at her, as if she were a lost little girl. It was odd to her, but there was something awfully special about him. Chapter 18. Max got her home at 11, and Kayla was amazed that they'd found stuff to talk about for that many hours. Do you want to come in? She asked. She hoped he knew she wasn't inviting him for anything sexual. You can watch me grill Amanda about how crypto did tonight. He laughed. I think I'll pass on that. As entertaining as I'm sure it will be, I have to work in the morning. He leaned down and pressed his lips to hers. I'll see you Saturday. As he was starting to walk away, she said, Max? He turned. Yeah? Thanks for a wonderful night. I really enjoyed myself. She walked toward him and pulled his head down for a deeper, longer kiss. Now I feel kissed goodnight. So do I, he said with a grin. Kayla went inside and immediately climbed the stairs up to the master bedroom, where she'd been staying. Amanda, how was my baby? Amanda shook her head. Your baby was fine. He ate a little of the wet food and a whole lot of the formula. I had to make him 2 bottles. What a good boy. Kayla reached out and took the kitten from her sister. You're wonderful and perfect, and you need to grow. Food makes you grow. Amanda yawned, covering her mouth with her hand. What time do I need to be here for furniture on Friday? Kayla had asked her to come in and help the furniture delivery men get everything where it needed to go for her. They're calling me tomorrow afternoon with a window of when they'll arrive. Sounds good. Amanda got to her feet. How was the date? Kayla shrugged. Really good. I think that man is incredible. If I was the marrying kind, I'd sure pick him. You're not the marrying kind? Since when? Amanda looked stunned. Since always. What man wants to marry a woman who wields a hammer better than a spatula? Max can cook, Kayla. He doesn't need you to do it for him. Be that as it may, most men want a woman who is soft and feminine. I'm anything but. Amanda shook her head. You'll be at the meeting tomorrow night? Kayla was surprised at the change in subject, but she nodded emphatically. Yeah, and I have a couple of points to bring up. Good. So do I. Amanda hugged Kayla before heading for the door. Thanks for letting me kitten sit. I didn't realize how fun he was. Kayla snuggled Crypto closer and kissed the top of his head. He's pretty darn special. I agree. Have fun with him. Amanda left to let herself out, and Kayla sat down on the edge of her bed, putting Crypto on the floor. Getting up, she shut the bedroom door. She was worried that if he started roaming around the house, she'd lose him entirely. She'd tried to put the smallest kitten collar she could find on him, but he kept getting his legs caught in the collar because it was so huge on him. She wanted him to wear a bell all the time so she could find him. Soon. She'd get him in a collar soon, and then he could roam more. 30 minutes later, she got ready for bed and put Crypto in his playpen for the night. She knew he'd wake her at least once with his cries, and she'd need to fix him a bottle, but she kept canned KMR for that. It was easier than going down to the kitchen to fix him a bottle. Good night, Crypto. I hope you know how very special you are. There was an answering purr from the playpen. He loved it when she talked to him, and he showed it. Asterisk. Kayla showed up for their sister meeting at the Band B the following evening with her kitten in his carrier. She sat down at the dining room table and realized the only one of them missing was Alyssa. She's late a lot now that she's married, she said to the room at large. Taylor sighed. That's not fair. She called. She was with a client late, and she had me leave her a plate in the microwave. She should be here any minute. I hope it was someone wanting to sell, so I can fix their house up, Kayla said, rubbing her hands together. Lauren grinned. Give me the baby. I want to hold him. He's sleeping. If we let him out now, he's going to want to eat and play. When he wakes up, you can hold him. Kayla shook her head at her younger sister. Haven't you ever heard that you shouldn't wake a sleeping baby? Taylor looked down at the notebook in front of her. I don't have that many things to talk about. It should be a quick meeting. I have a couple of things I need to talk about, Kayla said. So do I, Amanda said, giving Kayla an odd look. I don't have anything, Lauren said. I feel all left out and stuff. How's Mr. Mystery treating you? Kayla asked. He's still a jerk, and I want everyone to stop calling him that. It makes me angry. Lauren sounded like she was mad at Kayla for asking, and Kayla really didn't understand that. I'm sorry if I said something that bothered you. Lauren sighed. Sorry. Touchy subject at the moment. Let's move on. They talked for a little while about Amanda's upcoming wedding and exactly what she wanted. Are you getting married in the gazebo? Taylor asked. I think we're marrying in March, and marrying in the snow probably isn't a good idea. I'll marry in the little church here in town, and then we'll do a reception at one of the larger restaurants in the area. I'm going to go sample foods. Hannah's baker is going to make my cake for me. That sounds cool, Kayla said. Are you doing a lot of bridesmaids? Just my sisters. So, 4 of them. Ryan thinks that's too many, but I told him I refuse to be put in a position of choosing between my sisters. Lauren got a sassy look on her face, and it scared Kayla a little. But if you had to choose between us, who would you choose? Amanda glared at Lauren. Everyone but you, of course. Now that's just mean, Lauren said. Thankfully, Alyssa came in then. Sorry, 2 different people put houses on the market through me today. I got here just as fast as I could. She sat down beside Kayla. Let the meeting begin. Taylor sighed. I call the meetings to order. I'm the manager of the Band B. I'm the oldest, Alyssa retorted. Wow. I have a feeling there will be no meeting tonight. What is wrong with us? Kayla asked. There'd been nothing but bickering since they'd sat down. It had been good-natured bickering, but it was still bickering. I have stuff I want to bring up when Taylor's done, so Taylor, get going. Taylor shook her head. We're a table full of bosses with no underlings. Don't forget me. Lauren said. With my liberal arts degree, I make a perfect underling. Taylor chose to ignore Lauren, and she didn't even bother giving her a scathing glance. All right, first order of business. Kayla zoned out through a lot of the meeting. It was primarily a discussion of chores, and since she didn't live in the house, it didn't really affect her. When Taylor was finished, Amanda had the floor. I think we all need to do something for Kayla. She's convinced she'll never marry because she's not feminine enough, and I'm not sure what we can do about that. She helped me when I was sure that I'd never marry because of Dylan, and now I'm engaged, so it's her turn. Kayla felt all 4 of her sisters turn to look at her. This is a business meeting, she protested. This is not business. It's family business, Amanda said. I'm worried about you. It's obvious Max is pretty enamored with you, and here you are, complaining about how masculine you are all the time. No one sees you that way, but you. Kayla groaned. I don't want to have this discussion during a business meeting. Lauren shrugged. Then I'll serve chocolate marshmallow ice cream, and we'll have this discussion after the meeting. No biggie. After the meeting will be past Crypto's bedtime. Sorry, I can't stay. Amanda shrugged. That's okay. It'll be easier to have the discussion without you anyway. Why did I ever think that having 4 sisters was a good thing? Kayla asked. Taylor grinned. Don't worry. We'll fix you up with or without your help. Now, Kayla, what did you need to talk about? I have 2 things. The first is about Lauren. I think we need to take turns giving her a day off every week. I know she's the cook, but she can prep everything and write out instructions that even a monkey can follow. So, her monkey sisters can all pitch in and let her have the day off. I almost feel bad bringing this up, because I can't help at the moment because I have Crypto, but if I take the last rotation, he should be well enough by then to be left on his own. Taylor nodded emphatically. I think that's a great solution. Can you do the prep and make it so we can just handle things, Lauren? Absolutely. I want Fridays off, Lauren said, looking excited at the idea. No one blinked at that. Lauren always knew exactly what she wanted. Taylor frowned. Anyone willing to volunteer for tomorrow? Alyssa nodded. I'll do it. I just have to serve breakfast and supper, right? Yes, Lauren said, enthusiastically. I'll do a breakfast casserole, so you only have to serve, and I'll prep supper and write out monkey instructions for you. Then I'm in. I'll let Nick know. Thank you, Lauren said. I may go soak in some hot springs tomorrow. I need the healing benefit to live to be 3,000. No one deigned to comment on the 3,000 thing. Lauren was odd, and they all just accepted that. Kayla started in on her next topic. I'd like to build a cabana in the yard that one of us can always live in. At the moment, it's self-serving, because I'll be renting out my place and I need Crypto to stay with me. As if he knew he was being talked about, Crypto chose that moment to cry. Kayla calmly handed the carrier to Lauren and let her deal with the baby. It would be a place where the sister living here could live, separate from the guests. Then she could have privacy, and we could rent out that last room. Taylor frowned. Sounds expensive. Are you doing the work? Kayla nodded. I'll even pay for half of the materials. She really didn't want to, but she would. It'll be small, like an open room with a kitchen and a private bath. So, the bedroom and living room will all be one. Nothing fancy. The band bee will pay for it. Get me an estimate, and we'll go from there, Taylor said. I do think it's a good idea, but I'm not sure if it's a good idea right now. You know it will be decorated for free, and we'll use my discounts for the appliances and furniture, Amanda said. I know. I still need a bottom line cost. We all have money, but we've put a lot into this place. I'll work up a bid tonight and get it to you tomorrow. I have furniture coming tomorrow, so it's going to be a crazy day, and I'm stealing Amanda from you. Not that she really works here, but she does hang out and works a little, I think. Amanda stuck her tongue out at Kayla, who laughed. On that note, I'm going to take my kitty and go home. Lauren was snuggling Crypto under her chin, and he was purring loudly. I'm keeping him. You want to get up to bottle feed him during the night? Kayla asked. Lauren held the kitty out to her sister. I'll snuggle him later. I thought you'd say that. Chapter 19. Kayla worked up the bid that evening, but she found she couldn't sleep, which happened to her on occasion. She went to her bathroom for some Tylenol PM, but she was out. Groaning, she went back into her room and picked up her laptop. If she couldn't sleep, then she may as well do some research and see if she could find Max's mother. It wasn't long before she had tracked down the court records of his parents' marriage and divorce, and from there, she did a search on his mother with her maiden name and date of birth. She had to pay a little money on one of the People Finder websites, but she knew it would all be worth it in the end. By the time she finally fell asleep after 3 a.m, she had a phone number and address for a Mrs. Janice Price in Connecticut. She wrote down the information and promised herself she'd call the following day. Max needed to know if he had siblings, and more than that, he needed to be at peace with his past. She went to sleep with a smile on her face, knowing she was doing the right thing for Max. Asterisk. When Kayla woke on Friday morning, she groaned. She hadn't slept enough to deal with the furniture delivery. Crypto had woken her just after she'd fallen asleep, and he'd needed to eat. She walked into the bathroom and washed her face several times, wishing the dark circles under her eyes weren't quite so visible. Amanda was there a few minutes later, calling up the stairs to her. I brought coffee and donuts. I needed to hear that. Kayla picked up the kitty and carried him downstairs with her, listening to him yell at her in protest the entire way. He was a vocal little thing, and he hated being carried. He'd gotten so used to having a human being at his back and call that he cried if she wasn't close. She'd have to deal with how spoiled he was getting after he was healthy, but for now, keeping him alive was her #1 priority. When she got to the base of the stairs, she followed her nose to the coffee in the kitchen. "Bless you." Amanda grinned. "You looked kind of wired last night, and I was worried you wouldn't sleep. I got the bid for the cabana done, and I found Max's mother." "She was missing?" Amanda asked. "She abandoned him when he was a little boy, and the only time he's seen her since was for his father's funeral. So, I found her, and I'm going to contact her today. See if he has any siblings." "Does he know you're doing this?" Kayla shrugged. "He wasn't sure he wanted me to. He said he'd think about it, but I'll have all the information when he gives me his answer." "I'm not sure that's a great idea, Kayla. When a man says he'll think about something, he's trying to get you to leave the topic alone and forget about it. How are you going to feel if he gets mad at you? How is he going to feel when he knows you went behind his back?" Kayla sighed. "I don't know. I just so badly want him to have a family that he's close to. I don't know what I would do without my sisters, and he has no one. Tell him you've done the research, but don't call her yet. Maybe do a little more and see if he has siblings, but don't call. Not without his permission." Amanda seemed convinced that Kayla was making a mistake, and though Kayla usually listened to Amanda, she couldn't on this one. "I'll think about it." Kayla felt the kitten climb her shirt and bite her on the lip. "I think he's hungry." Amanda laughed. "Looks like it." Kayla made him a small dish of his wet food, surprised at how much he ate, before she pulled a bottle out of the fridge and nuked it for 10 seconds, sitting down in a chair with him. He grasped the bottle with both front paws and went to town. He doesn't usually eat this well. Maybe I can get rid of the bottle soon. Is he ready for that? He's old enough, but I'm not sure if he's ready. I don't want him to stop growing because I'm done feeding him his bottle, but the vet says he won't be out of danger until he's off the bottle, so. It's a hard call. Amanda sat down beside her and held a finger out for the little kitten to knead while he drank. He usually tried to knead the bottle, but he definitely preferred human flesh. As soon as he was done eating, he turned his head away from the bottle, milk dripping down his chin. "You are a mess, Crypto. Do you know that?" Kayla reached for a baby wipe from the table and carefully cleaned him up before setting him on the floor. She had a small makeshift litter box in the corner of the kitchen for him, and he ran straight there. Kayla washed her hands, grabbed a paper plate, and put 3 donuts on it. "Thank you for breakfast this morning. You're my favorite sister." "I'm your favorite until Lauren delivers supper tonight." "Well, yeah. Whoever feeds me has to be my favorite. That's how it works." "Of course it is." Amanda grinned. "I'm all about the food, too. We all are. Remember in high school when girls were only eating salads for lunch and we'd all pile our trays as high as we could? The other girls would glare at us." Kayla laughed. "Most women still don't like it, but it's not our fault we have good metabolisms. It's part of our nature." "It is. And it's not our fault we're beautiful." Amanda grinned at Kayla, who took a sip of her coffee without responding. Kayla was just eating her last bite of a raspberry-filled donut when her phone rang. Crypto ran and hid behind his litter box, obviously afraid. "Hello? Is this Kayla?" A deep voice asked. "Yes, it is. I'm bringing you a whole lot of furniture today. We should be there in about 15 minutes. I wanted to make sure you were ready for us." "I'm absolutely ready. I'm excited to get it done." "All right. I'll see you then." Kayla grinned at Amanda. 15 minutes. Perfect. That gives us enough time to pick up the trash from breakfast and for you to get the kitty hidden upstairs. Kayla frowned. I guess he can't be out in people's way. He's going to cry if he's alone in the master bedroom, though. Her bed was the only piece of furniture left in the master bedroom, and she'd be taking the bed apart and putting it against a wall. Amanda shook her head. You know as well as I do that mother cats let the babies cry. You are the mother cat, and he can cry for a little bit without dying. I guess. Kayla walked over and picked up Crypto, kissing the top of his head. She grabbed some kibble, which he hadn't really been able to eat yet, but hopefully he would at least try it. She didn't want to leave wet food in his playpen. She would move the pen to the closet so he would be out of the way with all the furniture going in. Amanda shook her head as she cleaned up the mess from breakfast, and Kayla took the kitty upstairs. She moved his playpen, put the small bowl of kibble into his pen with him, and added a bowl of water. Then she zipped the top of it. She could hear him crying as she shut the closet door, but she knew he had everything he needed. A litter box, food, and water. She still felt guilty, though. She walked back downstairs to join her sister and wait for the furniture. Are you as excited as I am? Amanda asked. More so. It means I can get the next house and start making money off this one. Has Taylor asked again if she could buy it for the band B? She hasn't. I think she knows that I have plans for it. Has that ever stopped her before? Amanda asked, winking at Kayla. A knock at the door told them the furniture was there. The next few hours were spent showing the delivery man where the furniture went. Amanda had a vision for each room, and she worked with Kayla to make sure everything went where it should. After each room was filled just like they wanted it and the delivery men were gone, Kayla raised her hands in triumph. It was done. Amanda rubbed her hands together. Now we just need to do the paintings and decorative things, and the house is ready to be rented out. Have you equipped the kitchen? First thing I did, because I knew I might need pans and dishes and stuff. As the two of them walked from room to room together, Amanda listed several more things Kayla would need to put in the kitchen. And you want nice towels. Your towels are stained with paint and stuff. Yeah, I don't buy pretty ones, because I know I'll just get more paint on them. I'll order a bunch, though. Make everything pretty. Sounds good. You want at least 2 sets of sheets for every room. You know this house can easily sleep 30 with all the beds you had me put in. How much are you going to charge? Kayla shrugged. I've done a little research, but I'm not sure yet. I won't be able to charge as much in the off-season, of course. That makes sense, but it's a winter playground as well. You need to put that in your ad. No one is going to buy it. Bear Lake is a frozen wasteland. I don't think we'll get many takers. Well, you never know. Amanda ran her hand over the countertop in one of the bathrooms. Have I told you lately how amazing you are at your job? Kayla shook her head. No, but you can tell me now if you want. Amanda laughed. Your head doesn't need to get any bigger than it already is. Are you hungry? Kayla asked, changing the subject abruptly. Starving. Let's go get lunch. We'll take the kitty in his bag. As they got close to the master bedroom, Kayla could hear the kitty wailing loudly. She hurried to open the master bedroom closet and unzip the top of the pen. He was climbing the walls of mesh to get to her, crying as he went. She scooped him up and pressed her lips to the top of his head. I'm sorry I had to leave you so long. You could have gotten hurt. Crypto didn't seem to care as long as Kayla was holding him and stroking him. She really was his mama, though she was anything but feline. She provided his milk, warmth, and love. So much love. Will you put a can of formula into the bag and a little bit of kibble? She asked Amanda. I already have a bottle in there ready to go. Sure. While Amanda packed the bag, Kayla sat on the edge of the new king bed and stroked the kitten, loving on him. Are you ready to go to lunch with us? She asked. Crypto simply purred, happy to be reunited with the human who was his everything. Kayla got up and put him into his bag. Now you be good in there. I'll be holding you the whole time. Crypto had worked himself into such a frenzy, he was exhausted. He curled up and went to sleep on top of the soft blanket she had inside the case. We're ready. Let's go. Amanda nodded. Any idea what you want? Crepes? Absolutely. Chapter 20. On Saturday, Kayla had a quick meeting with Alyssa, showing her the finished house. Alyssa smiled at her. You did so good. Are you sure you want me to handle the rentals and not Airbnb? I'm really not sure. How would you feel about it? I've never done anything like it, but I'm not sure if there's a real estate agent who specializes in rentals in this area, so I wouldn't be opposed. I'm sure I could make a good living that way. Alyssa looked into the master bedroom and the playpen, where Crypto was sleeping, on the floor beside the bed. I wondered where he was. You usually carry him everywhere. I do, but he had just fallen asleep, so I thought I had time to at least give you the tour. Besides, he's getting older, and I need to stop jumping every time he whimpers. It's time for him to become a real live kitten and not a little ball of fluff who likes to hang out on my shoulder or in my bra. Alyssa laughed. Well, he's definitely starting to look a lot more like a kitten. We were all worried about how you'd react if he didn't make it. We weren't sure you'd be able to handle it emotionally. Kayla sighed. I'd have been devastated. I've been telling myself I'm not keeping him and won't make that decision until we're sure he'll live, but honestly, I know it would have killed me. Of course it would have. You're too soft for your own good, even though you like to pretend you're all tough and masculine. I don't want to be masculine, Alyssa. I want Max to think I'm the most feminine, beautiful woman alive. Kayla looked down for a moment at Crypto, who'd woken and was looking at her with complete devotion in his eyes. I've never really had feelings like this before. My stomach kind of flips when I think about him, and I'm never sure if I'm going to vomit or fall at his feet. Alyssa laughed. Don't do either. Just let it go. She pursed her lips. When will you see Max again? He'll be here at 5 to cook me dinner. I fixed his bathroom at the bar, and he's cooking for me. Is that weird? Kayla felt strange about the total role reversal there. Lots of men cooked, but they were still the ones in the house to wield the screwdriver. Not so with her and Max. I don't think it matters if it's weird if it works for the two of you. Do you want me to have Lauren come over and turn you into a princess? Kayla laughed. Even Lauren doesn't have those skills. But maybe she could come over and turn me into a girl. Max would probably appreciate that. I have a feeling Max likes you just the way you are, but I'll send Lauren anyway. She should be having a lull right now. Kayla glanced at the time on her phone. She's probably cleaning guest rooms right about now. Then I'll go clean guest rooms so she can come over and work her magic on you. Alyssa shrugged. Not my favorite job, but certainly one I'm qualified to do, whether I have a liberal arts degree or not. Kayla laughed, reaching down to get Crypto from his playpen when he started crying and climbing the mesh walls to get to her. She kissed the top of his head and snuggled him against her chest. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Let me know what you decide you want to do about me renting your place or you using Airbnb. I'd have to charge a fee, of course, but check and see what Airbnb's fees are. They may do everything you need for a better price than I can offer you. That's true. I'll check it out and get back to you by Monday. Does that work? Perfectly. I'll talk to you then, and I'll send Lauren over. I hope she's not cleaning Mr. Mystery's room now. I've heard horror stories about the food containers he leaves all over the room. Alyssa shuddered. She doesn't want us to call him Mr. Mystery anymore. And she won't say why. Any ideas? None. Lauren's a mystery to me half the time. Alyssa headed for the door. Talk soon. When she was gone, Kayla looked down at the kitten in her arms. My sisters are pieces of work. Every single one of them. 10 minutes later, Lauren was there, griping under her breath. That man is going to be the death of me. Justin? Kayla asked, making sure not to call him by the name Lauren had given him. Of course. What other man is there? Lauren shook her head. He had piles and piles of containers from meals. He no longer eats with the rest of us at all, and he's in his room half the night making noise and keeping up all the other guests. Have people complained? Kayla asked. She hadn't heard about it if they had. No, but they're just being kind. Lauren, you need to give that man a break. No, I don't. He's a liar and a fink, and I don't ever want to look at him again. Lauren took a deep breath. Okay, let's look through your closet for something soft and feminine. If you don't have anything, then we'll raid my closet. I'm going to have you ready to see Max if it kills me. They went to Kayla's closet, and as much as Kayla wanted to ask what Lauren was going on about, she knew better. If you ever need to talk, you know where to find me. No, Lauren flipped through Kayla's blouses. Why don't you have more pretty clothes? Because I don't want to get paint on them and tear them up, Kayla answered logically. All right. Let's go next door. We'll raid my closet. Or maybe Amanda's. She's got the best clothes of all of us. She's the only one who has always loved dressing up in frilly things. I think she was born with frills on her butt. I can't prove it, though, because she's older than I am. Lauren led the way next door, and Kayla just carried Crypto in her arms, knowing he wouldn't like it. Lauren wasn't about to give her time to put him in his carrier, though. She was in a mood. Next door, they went straight to Amanda's room, knocking quickly. Amanda called out, "Come in." Lauren opened the door and went straight to her closet. Kayla needs something feminine to wear for her dinner date with Max tonight. Amanda looked surprised but shrugged. You should just dig through my closet then. Oh, wait, you already are. Kayla looked at Amanda and shrugged. She mouthed the word, Justin, and Amanda nodded, obviously understanding. You need help with her hair? Amanda asked. No, I'll handle it. Lauren pulled out a pink top with tiny roses on it. She held it up in front of Kayla. What do you think? Amanda nodded, with a smile. That's perfect. And she should wear a necklace with that, because it's got a good V-neck to show it off. Feel free to dig through my jewelry box. Lauren was already standing with the jewelry box open. I'm one step ahead of you. The longer Lauren worked to fancy Kayla up, the better mood she seemed to be in. I have the perfect pants to wear with the blouse. She frowned. Shoes. Alyssa has the best shoes, but she doesn't live here, Amanda said. What about your black flats? Those would work, Lauren said. I'll probably just go barefoot, Kayla said. We're having dinner in my house, and I never wear shoes unless I'm doing work there. Lauren turned on Kayla with a frown and a look of steel in her eyes. You will wear shoes. This is a date. Kayla rolled her eyes, knowing it didn't matter what she said. Lauren would make sure there were shoes on her feet. How much time do you have? Kayla was sure she could remove the shoes after Lauren was gone. Everything is prepped for supper. I just have to shove it in the oven in about 30 minutes. Don't think I'm going to let you undo what I've done after I leave. I will be at your side until Max arrives. You're my favorite little sister and a pain in my derriere all at the same time. And you wouldn't have me any other way. Lauren nodded to Amanda. Thanks for the blouse and jewelry. If they're not returned, see Kayla and not me. Amanda grinned. I know who to come after. Lauren left the room, and Kayla sat on Amanda's bed for a moment. She's in a mood over Justin again. I don't know what her problem is, and she really won't talk about it. She'll talk when she's ready, Amanda said. She always does. That's true. Kayla got up and went to Lauren's room, where she was pulling a pair of black slacks from her closet. These will let you feel comfortable, but not look too crappy. Lauren knelt down and dug through her shoes. And these shoes? They're not super comfortable, but you'll deal with them anyway. Thanks, Kayla said, wishing she knew what to say at that moment. All right. Let's go get you all prettied up. My makeup bag and straightener are there already. You'll look human if it kills us both. Are you saying I don't usually look human? Kayla asked as she followed Lauren next door, still cradling Crypto, who wanted to get down more than anything. He was biting her fingers, trying to get her to put him on the floor. Don't mess with me, Kayla. I'm not in the mood for your nonsense. I never spout nonsense. Kayla stuck her tongue out at Lauren's back, annoyed that her sister was being so moody. She wished Lauren and Justin would just give in to their attraction to each other and start dating. They were making everyone around them miserable with their silliness. I don't need to hear your lies. I've heard enough lately. With that, Lauren took Crypto from Kayla and shoved clothes into her arms. Go get dressed. Kayla went into the bathroom to change. She wasn't about to argue with Lauren at that moment. Chapter 21. By the time Max arrived, Kayla was dressed in a way that pleased Lauren, even if she didn't feel comfortable dressing all girly. Lauren didn't leave until he got there, to make sure she didn't take her shoes off. Kayla suspected she was also avoiding Justin, but she didn't dare ask her with the mood Lauren was in whenever his name was mentioned. As soon as Max knocked on the door, Lauren handed Crypto to Kayla. He'd been sleeping on her lap, and she'd been loving on him. Kayla took the kitty and went to answer the door, amidst Crypto's protests. He really didn't like anyone to carry him around ever, and it was worse when he was sleeping. She opened the door and smiled at him. Hi. What are you making? I'm starved. He laughed. I guess I'll get straight to work, then. Lauren grinned at her. Have fun tonight. We will, Kayla responded, though she wasn't sure. She needed to tell him about the research she'd done. As soon as Lauren was gone, she looked in the bags of ingredients Max had set on the counter. Well? What are we having? No, how are you? No, I missed you terribly while we were apart. Nope. Food. Kayla grinned at him, walking over and kissing his cheek. She couldn't help but notice how good he smelled. It wasn't a cologne. More of a soapy smell. When she pulled back, she saw that his hair was damp. He'd just gotten out of the shower. What kind of food? He sighed. I thought about making something really classy, and then I realized you'd rather have real food. I've seen you eat once or twice, and that told me everything I needed to know. So, we're doing steaks with loaded mashed potatoes and salad. And I made dessert, but you can't know what it is. Dessert and everything? You have my permission to cook for me every night. Max shook his head. You know, your need for constant food is a little scary. She shrugged. I feed myself. She walked to the cabinet and opened it to show him her crunch berries. See? He sighed. Sit down, and I'll get to work. She watched him cook, letting Crypto run around the kitchen. He had started eating his kibble and hadn't had a bottle all day. He still didn't seem to want to drink from his water bowl, but she kept nudging him toward it. "Do you need help?" she asked. "No, I need you out of my way. I don't help you paint and fix stuff, so you don't help me cook." Kayla shrugged. "Okay. I don't mind watching." In fact, she was thrilled to have a reason to just look at him. He had dark hair and a slight growth of beard on his face. His eyes were a clear green, which she loved. Looking at him would never let her heart cease fluttering. She knew after supper she was going to have to tell him about the research she'd done, and she wasn't looking forward to it. Amanda had been certain he'd be angry, and she was usually right about those things. "Did you have the whole day off?" she asked, trying to get her mind off of his mother. "Yeah. I had to go in for a few because we got a delivery, but I've been off other than that. I did laundry and cleaned my house. I live a very exciting life." "Oh, it sounds like it. I don't know how you can handle it all." Crypto walked over and brushed up against her leg, and she stooped down to pick him up. "He's on solids," she said softly. "No bottles today. The vet said that when he was on solids, he would be out of danger." Max grinned at her. "You did it." "I did. Now I'm going to adopt him." He laughed. "Everyone knew you wouldn't be able to give that baby up." Everyone was right. He's a perfect little kitten, though still a lot smaller than he should be. I need to message Lori and let her know that I'm keeping him forever and ever." At her words, Crypto purred loudly, making both of them laugh. "He knows he's loved." Max smiled. "He should know he's loved at this point. You've had him all but surgically attached for the past month." "This is true. He kind of likes me, too, you know. Everyone can see that. He looks at you with an almost worshipful look in his eyes. It's amazing what you've done with him. And he's so social. I've never seen a cat as happy to be handled as Crypto is. His mother is human, so he thinks he's human, too." Kayla shrugged. "Isn't that the way it should be?" Crypto seemed to know he was the center of attention, because he took that moment to climb to her shoulder and put one paw in her ear, the other behind it. Then, he started sucking on her earlobe, which made her giggle. Max went to her sink and peeled a small mountain of potatoes. "I sure hope I'm making enough. I know how hungry you always are." She eyed the pile. "That should be enough if you don't eat too much," she teased. He shook his head. "The sad thing is, I think you're telling the truth. This much would last me several meals. I'm a growing girl." "Is that so?" Max kept up the peeling, not bothering to look at her as he kept up his slow, methodical strokes over the potato with a paring knife. "It is so." She got up and walked to the kitchen. "I'm getting a bottle of water. Do you want one?" "Yeah, that'd be great." He took the bottle she handed him and opened it with a twist of his wrist, tilting his head back and chugging the water from the bottle. She watched him drink it, noting that his Adam's apple moved with his swallowing. She walked over and sat back down, still watching him. "How long do you think it'll be?" she asked, thinking about getting some cheese and crackers to snack on until it was ready. "Another hour, probably." "Go ahead and get a snack." He grinned over at her when she immediately got up. "I know you better than you think I do." "Maybe." She cut up some cheese and put crackers on a plate, putting them on the counter between them. He could have some if he wanted, but he certainly didn't have to. "I hope you like Monterey Jack." "Doesn't everyone?" he asked, snagging a piece of cheese and eating it without the cracker, causing her to frown at the plate. "Now the cracker to cheese ratio is off. I'll cut another piece of cheese." He grinned at her. "The ratio has to be just right? We don't want anyone stuck with a cheeseless cracker at the end." "What are you thinking?" "That could cause world implosion." She moved back to sit down, carefully putting a piece of cheese on her cracker before popping the whole thing into her mouth and washing it down with the water. Crypto kept trying to attack her water bottle, which made no sense. If he wanted water, there was some in his bowl. She carefully poured a tiny bit of water into the lid of the bottle and held it out to him. He lapped it up quickly, so she put him on the floor next to his bowl. He stuck his whole face in the bowl and came out sputtering. She had to laugh. "You are a mess, kitty face. You know that, don't you?" Crypto didn't seem to care as he slowly lowered his head and tried again, actually getting some water into his mouth that time. She couldn't help but grin. He was learning, and she was thrilled. "I took my bid for a cabana to Taylor on Friday. She's going to give me my answer on Monday." "I think it's a brilliant idea," Kayla said. "And Alyssa is thinking about whether she wants to be a rental agent and rent out the houses I get for me, so I don't have to do Airbnb." "Would you rather work through her?" he asked. "I think I'll save some money on fees if I do. I mean, she'll take a small percentage, but it may not be as much as Airbnb. I've been looking into their fee structure." She shrugged. "We'll see on Monday what she thinks she will want me to pay. From what I understand from people around here who rent out their homes, the deal they get from Airbnb is incredible, including insurance in case people do something to the house. You need to keep all that in mind, too." "Yeah. Either way, this place will be available for rent soon." Kayla walked to the cabinet. "Why don't I set the table?" "Sounds good." They worked together in silence for a while, and then she sat back down, getting antsy to eat. She was hungry. As always. The meal was absolutely delicious, which didn't surprise Kayla at all. She'd known he could cook. "This is wonderful. Thank you for coming over and cooking for me." She dabbed her face with her napkin. "Thanks for dressing up for me. Though, I hope you know you don't need to. I like you just as much in your work clothes as I do in the girly getup you're wearing." "Girly getup? You sure have a way with words, Max." He chuckled. "Well, you look all girly to me." Crypto brushed against her ankle, and she looked down at him. "You stay on the floor. I'm eating." She took a sip of her water, watching Max. She needed to tell him, and they couldn't settle in and watch television or have any fun until she had. "What's on your mind?" he asked. "I'm not sure that you really want to know," she answered, a grin on her face. After they cleaned the kitchen, she'd tell him then. "I wouldn't ask if I didn't want to know." "Sure you would," Kayla said. "You're Max, and you ask polite things like that." He gave her a look that made her laugh. "Now that Crypto's on solid food, are you going to have to keep getting kitten sitters?" "Probably not. We're going to the vet again this week as a follow-up on the upper respiratory infection. I'll find out what she thinks then." Kayla looked down at the little critter who had captured her heart so thoroughly. She was so proud of him for getting better and for actually growing. She hadn't thought she'd ever see this day. "Sounds good. Maybe soon, I can take you out without you needing to worry about your baby quite so much." She smiled. "I like that idea. I think I'm going to let him stay out of the playpen now, too. He needs to be able to roam more." "So, what are we going to do first?" "No idea. I don't know the area as well as you do." "Even a picnic would be nice," he said. "I love eating outside, and we could go up to the national forest." "That does seem to be our place, doesn't it?" "Sure does." He ate the last bite of his meal and leaned back, watching as she continued eating. When she noticed him watching her, she set her fork down and swallowed what was in her mouth. "I actually need to talk to you about something tonight, and I hope you won't be angry with me." Max frowned. "Why would I be mad at you?" Kayla took a deep breath and just got the words out. I did some research and found your mother. Chapter 22. Max stared at Kayla in silence for a moment, not quite believing his ears. You did what? I found your parents' marriage and divorce records, and then I did a people search on your mom online. She's living in Connecticut with her husband. You have a brother 4 years younger than you and one 6 years younger. I started to call her, but I didn't want to upset you more than I'm sure I already have by searching for her. Max shook his head. I asked you not to interfere. Actually, you told me you'd think about it, so I did it to have the information ready for you when you were ready. Kayla sighed. I wanted you to know rather than hide it from you. He couldn't believe it. And why did you think you should do that? She shrugged. I just feel so strongly about family, and now that your dad is gone, you don't have one. But you could. She sat on the edge of her seat, looking at him earnestly. He knew she wanted him to tell her that it was fine, but it wasn't. I don't appreciate you meddling. He got to his feet, unable to continue sitting there when he was so angry. Instead, he paced back and forth. I was happy with things the way they were. No, you weren't. You wouldn't have talked about everything that had happened with your mother if you had been. Kayla got to her feet and walked over, getting in the way of his pacing. She faced him toe to toe, eye to eye. Please don't be angry with me for checking into it. I stopped myself before I called her, and that's what I really wanted to do. Badly. I guess I should be thankful for that. Max looked down into her upturned face. She looked so serious. He knew she'd only been trying to help, but he felt as if she'd betrayed his trust. A trust he didn't give just anyone, but had given to her without a second thought. I need to go. He turned away from her and walked toward the door. Wait. When will I see you again? Kayla asked. I don't know. You may not. He closed the door behind him, leaving the mess from cooking for her to handle. She was making new messes in his life, and she could handle that one on her own. He went to his car and got behind the wheel, banging both hands against it. Why did she think it was all right to interfere in his life that way? It wasn't her job to find his mother and his siblings. It was her job to be there for him, and he felt betrayed. He drove toward his house on the outskirts of town, still shaking inside. He felt like she'd stabbed him in the back by doing something she knew he didn't want her to do. He had no desire to ever see the woman again. There was no excuse for what she'd done. Asterisk. Kayla methodically cleaned up the kitchen, tears streaming down her face. She'd really only been trying to help, but she had no idea how to convince him of that, even if he'd ever see her again. After she'd finished in the kitchen, she picked Crypto up and climbed the stairs. A long, hot bath might be the best thing for her. She didn't even have the heart to eat any of the key lime pie he'd left in her fridge, and it was one of her favorite desserts. She went to bed early, racked with guilt. The look on his face when she told him what she'd done, well, it made everything a little bit worse, and she couldn't stop seeing how annoyed he'd been. Asterisk. Kayla went next door for breakfast the following morning, leaving Crypto in the master bedroom and bathroom, with food in the bathroom along with his litter box. He would have everything he needed. She went straight to Amanda's room and knocked on the door. When her sister opened it, she started sobbing hysterically. She felt so stupid, but Amanda had been the one to convince her to not call Max's mother when she had her phone number. Amanda immediately wrapped her arms around her. He's mad that you researched his mother, right? Kayla nodded, resting her head on her sister's shoulder. I feel so stupid. You're not stupid. I know you really were trying to help, but I can still see why it would make him angry. Tell me you didn't call her. I didn't. But I did more research and discovered he has 2 brothers, and I told him about them. Kayla shook her head. He has siblings. I would think that would make him happy, not angry. Amanda sighed, pulling her into her room and shutting the door. Just because we're all happy that we have sisters doesn't mean other people want siblings. I know it seems strange to us, but I've met people who liked to pretend they had no siblings, because theirs were so awful. She sat down on the bed and patted the spot beside her. I know what you did out of love for him, but I'm sure he can't see past what he must think is a huge betrayal. But it's not. I really was trying to help him, and I thought I had. He left right after I told him, and I don't know if he'll ever even talk to me again. What have I done? You tried to make his life better. He's going to realize that soon, but for now, you just need to give him a break. Don't go by his bar. Don't call him. Let him come to you. Kayla sighed. I've never dated anyone I got along so well with, and I really blew it this time. I think I love him, Amanda. I know you do. You wouldn't have gone to all that effort to find his mother otherwise. But now he hates me. He doesn't hate you. He's just disappointed. Amanda shrugged. Maybe you should write down the information you have and give it to one of the guys for him. Tell him in the note that you're never going to bring it up again, but he has the right to the information you found. Sounds smart to me. I can do that. Kayla brushed the tears from her face. I just don't know how I'm going to deal with the heartache if he can't forgive me. Put yourself in his shoes. He feels betrayed, heartbroken that you guys fought, and he has to decide what to do about a mother who abandoned him. He's got to be messed up in the head right now. Maybe I should take him. No, you shouldn't. You absolutely should not. Ever. He needs to get over this, and that's going to take some time. Really, I'd wait for him to come to you. Period. All right. You hungry? Amanda asked. Have you ever known me to not be hungry? Amanda grinned. Lauren is making blueberry pancakes this morning. With bacon. Who can resist pig when they're sad? Can we follow it up with chocolate marshmallow ice cream? Kayla frowned. And cookies. I need gingerbread cookies. Let's go do this. Amanda led the way down to the kitchen, where she stopped to talk to Lauren. Kayla's heartbroken, but she's not talking about it. Can you make her favorite cookies? Of course. Lauren served them each pancakes and bacon. I'm getting started on them now. As they walked to the dining room with their plates, Kayla whispered to Amanda. Do you think she'll shape them like houses? I like them to be shaped. Of course she will. She knows what you like, and she loves you. They'll be perfect. Sitting at the table, they heard Lauren talking to someone. I'll only give you pancakes if you promise to bring the container back out and throw it away properly. Or you can eat at the table. I'm done cleaning up your filth. If you keep talking to me that way, I really am going to complain to Taylor. She's your boss. She is. But she's also my sister. Try it. I dare you. Kayla and Amanda exchanged a look. They really need to figure things out, Amanda whispered. We're going to start losing guests over those two. Kayla nodded. They were funny at first, but now it's more bitter than anything else. I want to know what happened, but Lauren won't talk. She won't admit she's wrong ever. Asterisk. Max worked all day Sunday, moping around the bar. When Ryan and Nick made an appearance, he couldn't even muster a smile for his buddies. What's got you looking so upset? Nick asked, sitting at the bar. Amanda said Kayla has been crying all day, Ryan said. He pulled an envelope out of his back pocket. I've been told to give this to you. It's the information you don't seek, which makes absolutely no sense to me. Kayla will never mention the topic again now that you have the information. Nick raised an eyebrow. That's all you know about the subject? Sounds awfully cryptic to me. To me, too. I tried to get Amanda to say more, but she said that she'd already said too much. How that could possibly be too much, I don't know. Hopefully Max understands. I do, Max said shortly. Kayla butted her nose in where it doesn't belong. Got some information that I don't want. I'm sure it's in here. Ryan raised an eyebrow. Did you two fight over whatever is in there? He nodded toward the envelope that was laying unopened on the bar. Yup. Max suddenly felt the words pouring out of him, and he was glad they were alone in the bar. She decided I needed a family, so she tracked down my mother without my permission. Found out I have 2 brothers I've never even met. I have no desire to see my mother at all. I have no idea how I feel about having brothers, because I didn't know they existed until last night at supper. There was something inside him that was curious, though. Brothers. Nick frowned. Is that what you fought over? Yeah. I don't think I can ever look at her again. Ryan shook his head. She did it out of a loving place, Max. Those sisters are all so close. I'm sure she wanted you to have what they have. Yeah, that's what she said, but I asked her not to dig. And she did anyway, because she's not obedient. I get it. Who would want to date a girl who wasn't obedient to his every whim? Not I. Ryan sighed. I'm so glad that Amanda does whatever I say. It's not that I expect her to be obedient. It's that, well, I don't think she should have meddled. It's my life, not hers. Max angrily wiped a spot on the bar that was already clean. Did she really meddle, though? Nick asked. Did she contact any of them for you? Well, no, but she researched them for me. I didn't want her to do anything at all. It sounds to me like she restrained herself. If she's anything like Alyssa, she would have wanted to fly out there, show up on your mother's doorstep, show her pics of everything she'd missed of you growing up, and demand to meet your siblings. Ryan nodded. Amanda, too. Those girls are strong, and they do what they want, when they want. It's one of the things I love most about Amanda. But I asked her not to do it, and she did anyway. I know. I get it. But is it really worth throwing your relationship away over? I've never seen you as happy as you've been since you two started dating. You took her kitten to the fair. You wouldn't have done that if you hadn't cared, Nick said. Max frowned. I'll think on it. Just don't cut her out entirely. Give her a chance to explain. I almost lost Alyssa because I didn't let her explain something. Don't make the same mistake I did. Taking a deep breath, Max nodded. Maybe. Chapter 23. Kayla had a hard time pushing forward with her business plans that week, but after taking crypto to the vet Monday, she immediately got to work. It was odd that she could feel both ecstatic that crypto was out of danger and lost at sea about her relationship with Max at the same time. The first thing she did when she got home was call Alyssa. I think I'm going to go with Airbnb. After doing a little more research, I realized they are worth the price. They offer up to $1 million in insurance. Yup. That's worth the price, Alyssa said. Well, good. Are you planning on doing cleans between guests yourself? Or do you want to hire someone for that? I'd rather hire someone, but I have no idea how to find someone to hire. Any clue? I'll ask my new real estate friends and figure it out for you, if you want. Yes, please. Kayla sighed. You don't have a problem with it? No problem at all. Saves me the hassle of figuring out the best way to do it. I'm a little busy with the new husband. He likes to have as much of my time as he can. Kayla smiled a little. Well, he might be called in to help me build the cabana one weekend. I'm about to go see Taylor and see what she thinks. I know I can do the interior alone, but I might need help getting the structure built. If you do, let me know. He's family now, and he has to help out with our weird family projects. I was hoping you'd say that. Kayla took a deep breath. Love you, big sister. She didn't usually end calls that way, but she needed the reciprocity she knew would come. She felt so alone at that moment, and the love of her sisters was going to need to get her through. Love you back. Talk soon. The line went dead, and Kayla knew Alyssa had ended the call. Kayla made sure Crypto's litter box was clean and he had fresh food and water before walking the short distance to the house next door. There, she tracked down Taylor to ask what she thought of her bid. Taylor was at the reception desk, checking guests out, so Kayla waited in the background to talk to her. Once the couple was gone, she stepped up to the desk. So, what did you think of my bid? Are you sure you can do it for that? It seems kind of low to me. Not that I know much about it. Amanda and I have talked, and with her discounts and me doing the bulk of the work, we can get it done for that. It won't be fancy, but I think any of us would be happy to be able to live there when necessary. Sounds good. Yeah, we can afford to start right away. Question: what are you going to do with crypto while you get the cabana built? I'm going to have to wait to rent it out. I'm jumping through hoops with Airbnb right now to get the house going. When do you want to be able to rent the house? I'd like to be able to do it within the next couple of weeks, so I can get in on tourist season. I think if Nick and Ryan are willing to help, we should be able to get the structure up in one weekend. It's a small area, so I'll get it ready to pour concrete this week, and then I'll have someone pour it. If I could get it done by the end of this week, that would be great. I'll probably take Crypto outside with me in his playpen. I'd let him run, but I'd be afraid of losing him. Taylor nodded. Sounds good. I'd like minimal disruption for our guests. Do you know where you want to put it? Well, we own that copse of trees behind the house. I walked around back there and found a clearing big enough to use. I'll go there, and it shouldn't hurt the yard or functionality of Romriell house at all. It helps that I own the land next door, and if it encroaches a little, no one will care. Perfect. Taylor grinned. Always thinking ahead. Well, it's kind of part of being in business for yourself, don't you think? Definitely. Do you want a check for the materials? Oh, just pay me for them when it's all said and done. I kind of estimated high on a few things, so you wouldn't be shocked when I gave you the bill. I'll keep receipts. Kayla took a deep breath. I'm heading to Logan to the Home Depot there. I'll get the lumber I need for the slab and then schedule the cement pouring. I'll be back to work in a few hours. Sounds good. As soon as Kayla moved toward the door, one of the guests stepped up to the counter. The Band B really was a happening place. Kayla was halfway out the door when she realized she wanted someone checking in on Crypto while she was gone. It would take her several hours to get to Logan, buy what she needed, and make the long drive back. She stopped in the kitchen where Lauren was cleaning up from breakfast. You're not hungry, are you? Lauren asked. Always, but I've had breakfast. I'm driving to Logan today to get lumber for the cabana. I was hoping you'd check in on Crypto for me. I'll be gone a while. Sure. I'm always happy to check on my nephew. I appreciate it. Kayla sighed. Wish you could come with me. Lauren frowned. You know, I probably could. I'll check with Taylor and see if she would mind. Really? Lauren nodded. I need to get away again. She hurried into the hallway that they used as a lobby for the Band B. As soon as Taylor finished up, Lauren asked if she could go. I have supper in the electric roaster. It'll need to cook all day anyway. I thought I'd ride along with Kayla to Logan, if that's all right with you. Taylor grinned. I was going to Logan today. Can you handle a shopping list for Sam's? You bet. Lauren accepted the piece of paper Taylor ripped from her notebook. I'll take care of it. Use the business Amex? Yeah. That'll make things easier for me. I don't mind cleaning the 2 rooms alone if it means I don't have to spend all day driving to and from Logan. Wait, Kayla said. Lauren was going to check in on crypto today. Can you do that? Of course, Taylor said. He has food and the run of the house? He has food and water. I shut him in the master suite so I wouldn't lose him. He's so little, I'm sure he's going to go somewhere, and I'll never see him again. Kayla nodded at Taylor. Thank you. No problem. You're saving me time and effort. Kayla and Lauren hurried out to Kayla's truck. Okay, so we're going to Home Depot first. I want the lumber that I need in the next couple of days loaded, and we can put Band B supplies on top of the lumber. But we can't put lumber on top of Band B supplies. Lauren nodded. That would not be good. As Kayla drove, Lauren leaned back and closed her eyes. I love riding through the canyon. It's pretty, and it kind of feels like I'm on a roller coaster. It does, doesn't it? It's weird to me that Amanda hates driving through them so much, but whatever. We'll just have some good sister time today. Lauren looked over at Kayla. So, what's going on with Max? I know you spent all day yesterday crying, and I don't know what happened. I did something stupid, and I'm not sure he'll ever forgive me for it. And that's all I'm going to say, because it's a private thing. Private for him, not for me. Anyway, I'm not at liberty to discuss it too terribly much. Sounds good to me, Lauren said. It's not like I can say much about what's going on with Justin either. Why are men so difficult? I don't know, but I say we have lunch and get pitas while we're in Logan. I don't think I can deal with life without pampering myself just a little. I get you. The Band B is about to make me crazy, so I had to get out. Well, one Band B guest who shall remain nameless. Like you need to tell me who, Kayla said, shaking her head. I wish you two would quit fighting, but it's not my place to ask about it. There was silence in the truck for a few minutes, and then Lauren asked where Kayla would like to go for lunch. The rest of the time they drove, the topic was kept light. After lunch, they went to Home Depot, and Kayla found a sale to save the sisters some money. She got what was absolutely necessary for that week only, and then she talked about delivery of some of the other things she needed. The cement was scheduled for Friday, provided it didn't rain, and she knew the cabana would be on schedule for the weekend. They had more fun at Sam's than they had at Home Depot, each of them eating samples of everything that looked good. They loaded up on things that weren't on the list. I'll just tell Taylor I need them for meals for the week. It's not like she checks those things. And you will use them for meals. People are hungry. Kayla said with a smile. Very true. By the time they were in the truck to head back to Logan, both sisters were in better moods. Not perfect, of course, but better. We forgot pitas, Kayla complained as they hit the canyon. That's okay. I feel better just having a sister day. Lauren rested her head against the back of her seat. Me too. It's definitely what I needed. I'm going to eat at the Band B tonight as well. Why not? It's not like I have any fabulous plans. Don't start that. We spent the whole day wiping those rotten men from our minds. Actually, what happened between Max and me was my fault. I was out of line, and that's that. He's done nothing wrong except react to me. You can't be upset with him over this fight, because I caused it, plain and simple. But he broke your heart. Only because I did something that made him back away from me. My fault and mine alone. Kayla didn't like admitting that she'd messed up her relationship with Max, but she couldn't let her sister be angry with him. It just wasn't fair to him. When they got back to the Band B, the two of them worked together to unload and put the groceries away, and Lauren popped some buns in the oven for supper. "Do you need help with your lumber?" "Yeah. But I'm probably going to need a guy to help, not a woman." "I'll help you," Justin said from the hallway. "Why are you just lurking there? You're creeping us out." Lauren glared at him. "I'm offering to help your sister." "You would think that would be acceptable." Justin walked to Kayla. "Show me where the lumber is." Kayla went outside with him, and they moved the lumber. "I don't know what happened between you and Lauren, but she's furious with you." He sighed. "I know she is. We'll figure it out." With that, he walked down toward the lake. He was as sad as Lauren was, and it was obvious. Chapter 24. It was Wednesday evening before Max sat down with the envelope, still sealed, on his lap. He didn't want to open it, but at the same time, he wanted nothing more. He wanted to learn about his brothers, and he couldn't help but wonder how much information Kayla had included about them. After more than 30 minutes of staring at the envelope, he tore it open on one end and pulled out the piece of paper. Her writing was pretty and loopy. He read everything she'd written. One brother was in medical school at Harvard. The other was a financial analyst. He felt out of his league knowing they were so smart and successful. Well, his brother in medical school couldn't be successful yet, but he had to have done well in school to get into Harvard. They didn't exactly accept your average schmo off the streets. Kayla had listed phone numbers for both of them as well as for his mother. Before he had a chance to overthink things, he picked up his phone and called the brother in medical school. It said his name was Andrew. The phone was answered on the first ring. "Yeah?" For a moment, Max wasn't sure what to say, and then suddenly he was. "Hi, I'm Max Seco." Hey, big brother. I can't believe you're calling me." "You know who I am?" "You've got to be kidding me. Mom talks about you all the time. Tells me I have to live up to your standards. You're a self-made businessman who didn't have everything handed to him on a silver platter like I did." Max laughed. "I own a bar." "Yup. I know all about it. Trust me." Max could almost hear his brother rolling his eyes. "My girlfriend looked you guys up. I didn't even know you existed until Saturday." "Well, that's just sad. Josh and I need to meet you. You're our brother, and we've never spoken and never hugged. Family is everything. Didn't Mom teach you anything?" Max sighed. "I don't really remember her. She took off before I was old enough to learn anything from her except how to walk. Yeah, she told us that she made the biggest mistake of her life walking out on you and your dad. And he wouldn't let her have anything to do with you after that. He refused child support and wouldn't let her see you. I can just imagine what you were told about her. But look, man, she's a good mother. Not perfect, but good. Fly out here. I'll buy your ticket if you can't afford it. But I want to meet you." Max's mind raced at the idea. "I can buy my own ticket. Where would I fly into?" "Boston." "Look, hang up, book tickets, and let me know when you get here. Josh and I will be waiting in baggage claim no matter when it is. Some of my buddies owe me favors, and they can take my rotations. I haven't ever refused one of them. I'm in medical school. Kayla told me." "Aw, the girl. Well, hang up. I need to know when you're landing so I can make arrangements." With that, the call ended. Max stared at his phone for a moment before going to Travelocity and booking a flight. If he thought about it too much, he'd never do it. And then he called Bob, who was always asking for more shifts at work. "Bob, I need you to cover for me. I'm going to be gone for a long weekend." "I got it. Just tell me when, and I'll be there. It might mean a couple of 14-hour days for you. Which means money. I'll happily do it." "All right. This weekend. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday." "Done. See you next week." "Thanks, Bob." Max ended the call and called Andrew back, giving him his flight information. "I'll meet you at baggage claim." "Wow. I finally get to meet my big brother. And I delivered my first baby today. This day is going down in the record books." Max laughed. "I would say the baby is more important than meeting the brother." "Oh, you'd be so wrong. See you Friday." Max realized his brother had ended the call. What a day. For him as well as for Andrew. He had two brothers and a mother who had missed him and thought leaving him was a mistake. Life was changing. Quickly. Asterisk. Max was up at 3 on Friday morning to make the drive to the airport in Salt Lake City. His flight was at 8:30, and he needed to be there early. At least that's what he'd always been told. He'd never flown before, and he was a little nervous, but more than anything he was excited. Brothers. The process of security at the airport was a pain in his butt. Why did he have to take off his shoes? That was just weird. When he was finally seated on the plane, he promptly closed his eyes and slept. He'd been able to get a straight flight, and he didn't need to be awake until they touched ground in Boston. When they landed, he watched as everyone pushed into the aisles getting their luggage. He stood and pulled his own bag from the overhead bin. He hadn't bothered to check anything, because he'd only be there 3 days. It was easier to use a small suitcase he'd borrowed from Nick than to mess with all that. He followed the crowd of people to baggage claim and stood there, not knowing who he was even looking for. And then he spotted 2 men in their 20s holding a sign between them, trying to find our brother. "Where are you, Max?" He couldn't help but chuckle as he walked toward them. "I could use a brother," he said, stopping in front of them. Andrew stepped forward and hugged Max. "I'm so glad to finally meet you, man." Max sighed. "I feel so behind the times. I didn't know you two existed, and you wanted to meet me. I assume Josh wants to meet me, too?" Josh stepped forward. "Absolutely. I needed a good big brother and not this wash-up." He embraced Max as well. Max laughed. "I'm happy to meet both of you. I never really thought that I'd ever have family again, and this is pretty neat. Mom said to bring you if you were willing." "If not, you can stay at my place," Andrew said. "You'll have to sleep on the couch, but it's better than paying for a hotel." "Oh, I plan to pay for my own hotel room." "Not happening." Andrew reached for his suitcase and took it from him. "Come on. We're in the parking garage." The 3 of them walked toward the car, and Max saw some similarities between himself and his brothers. They all had dark hair, and his brother's eyes were as brown as his own. "I can't believe I'm standing here with my brothers." "No sisters, I guess?" "Mom lost a little girl between you and Andrew," Josh said. "While she was still with your dad." "What? I had no idea that happened." "Dad never said anything." "Well, from what Mom told us, you were little when she had Melinda. She was 2 months old when they found a hole in her heart. The baby went into the hospital and never came out. Mom was devastated, but your dad moved on like nothing had happened, and she couldn't take it. She left you with a sitter, planning to come back for you, because you were sick and she didn't want to take you on a plane, but she had to get medical help. She had a breakdown after the baby died, which makes sense to me. By the time she went back for you, your dad had filed for divorce and accused her of abandonment. She couldn't get custody of you after that. She was declared unfit. That sucks. Why did my dad tell me she left? Because I was too much for her with her rich background. No clue. I just know that Mom has always talked about you like you were the most important person in the world to her. She met and married Dad not long after moving back in with her parents, and she's been happy since. Except that she's always missed the little boy she had to leave behind. Wow. So not the story I've always heard. Max was sure the truth was somewhere in between the two parents' stories, but whatever it was, he wasn't going to judge either of them too harshly. They'd obviously both been dealing with a lot with the death of their daughter. I want to meet Mom. As soon as the words were out, Max wasn't sure he meant them, but it was something he felt like he had to do. These men, who were strangers to him, knew too much about him for his mother to have forgotten him like he'd always thought. Andrew grinned. She's going to be so happy. They got into a high-end SUV, and Max sighed. Dad wasn't lying about the money she has, was he? Nope. Grandpa and Grandma have always been wealthy. They cut Mom off when she married your dad, though. They never thought he was worthy of her. Max shook his head. I can't believe how much I've learned about my own past since calling you guys. I appreciate you welcoming me so openly. His mind was spinning from all the new information. It was strange, but he felt better about a lot of things knowing what had happened from his mother's point of view. We were raised to think of you as our big brother even though we'd never met, Josh said. How could we act any other way? The drive to his mother's house was a long one, and the three of them talked about everything under the sun. Finally, Andrew asked about Kayla. You mentioned your girlfriend who did research for you. I figured you'd bring her along. Max shook his head. No, she did all the research about Mom against my will. I kind of told her I didn't want to see her again. And now he regretted every word. If she hadn't gone behind his back as she had, he wouldn't be sitting there with his brothers on his way to meet his mother. Then you're an idiot, Josh said. She brought us together and helped you learn the truth about what happened all those years ago. She did, but she did it behind my back. So what? Andrew asked. She had your best interests at heart. Sounds like she loves you a lot to me. I think she does, Max said softly. I suggest after you have a heart-to-heart with Mom tonight that you call her and tell her you're the biggest idiot alive and ask her if she's willing to take you back. Tell her you're a muttonhead. I like calling people muttonheads, Josh said. Max frowned. I'll think about it. And he would. He'd think a lot about it as he decided what to do. Kayla was special, and he shouldn't have treated her the way he had. Would she even forgive him? Andrew pulled up in front of a huge house. More of a mansion than anything. Max swallowed hard. He'd never been in a house anything like that. The nicest house in all of Richland was the Romriell house, and it didn't hold a candle to this place. He sat in the car staring at it for a moment, noting that all the lights were on. Not sure I can do this. Sure you can, Andrew said. She's been waiting for this day for 28 years. Even if it's hard, don't you think she deserves the love and acceptance you've been withholding? We get that you believed your dad. Don't think we're criticizing you, Josh added. We just know how lost she's felt without you all these years. She never quite felt complete without you beside her. Max sighed and nodded. I can do hard things, right? Good man. Andrew said, jumping out and going around to the back for Max's small suitcase. Let's go. They walked up to the intimidating house, and Andrew threw the door open. Mom, we have someone for you to meet. Max wanted to laugh. He'd looked at the house and imagined millions of servants and a very proper atmosphere. Instead, it was casual, and a tiny woman he barely remembered from his father's funeral came running at him, barefoot, no less. "Max." There were tears streaming down her face. "You have no idea how much I've missed you." Max stared at her for a moment, and then he opened his arms. He felt tears on his own face. "I hear you never forgot me after all." "I couldn't," his mother said. "You were my whole world until, well, until the baby. The guys filled me in on that. Dad conveniently forgot about little Melinda. I'm sure there's a lot for me to know. Come sit down. I'll have the cook make us some lunch." "I'll handle that," Andrew said. "I don't mind." He started toward the kitchen, and then stopped short and looked at his younger brother. "Are you coming, Josh?" "Nah, I want to watch this tearful reunion between my favorite older brother and Mom." Andrew reached out and grabbed Josh's arm, pulling him from the room, and Max laughed. "Have the two of them been practicing that?" "Probably. They're both crazy, so it wouldn't surprise me at all." She covered his hand with hers. "I'm so glad you're here and we can talk." "Me too." Chapter 25. By the time Max got home on Sunday evening, he felt as if his entire world had changed. He glanced at his watch as he got into Richland, realizing it was only 9. Though he was tired, he needed to talk to Kayla. She'd been right to do the research and find his family. He knew that now, and he needed to tell her. He drove straight to her house and knocked on the back door. When she came to the door, he stared for a moment. She was filthy. Her hair was back in a ponytail, and she was wearing jeans with a hole in them and paint splattered all over. Her shirt was no better, depicting a rock group that he was relatively certain she wasn't interested in. She was the most beautiful woman he'd ever seen in his life. When she just looked at him, he asked, "May I come in?" "Sure. I was just about to shower." She opened the door wide. "Do you want something to drink?" She walked to the kitchen table. "I can't really sit on the couch like this. I want this place in pristine condition for the guests." He nodded, sitting down in a chair close to her. He put his hand on her knee. "I flew to Boston, and my brothers picked me up at the airport. I spent the whole weekend with them and my mother." Kayla nodded, her eyes still shrouded. She was waiting for the other shoe to drop, and he couldn't blame her for it. "How did it go?" "So well. I have 2 brothers and a mother who loves me. I had always believed she didn't love me at all, or she wouldn't have left me. I had a little sister, and she died. No one ever told me that. Mom lost it after she died. Ended up being hospitalized for depression, and she left me because she couldn't take me. She was going to take me to her parents before she went to the hospital, but I was sick and she couldn't. She never meant to abandon me. Of course she didn't. I can't imagine a mother alive who would abandon their child that way." Kayla had tears streaming down her face. "I'm so happy for you, Max." She leaned toward him as if to hug him, but she stopped midway. "Don't stop," he whispered softly. "But I'm filthy, and you hate me now." There was a catch in her voice at the word hate, and he felt terrible. "I don't care about how dirty you are, and I could never hate you." He grabbed her and pulled her toward him, wrapping his arms around her. "Thank you for giving me the gift of a family. I didn't know how much I needed one until I had it handed to me." He pressed his lips to her hair, noting a twig. "What have you been doing? You have sticks in your hair." She sniffled as she pulled back. "I spent all weekend getting the cabana's outer walls up. Ryan and Nick helped me. The rest I can do on my own. It should be livable within another week or 2, and then I'll be able to rent this place out and make some of my money back." "That's amazing." Max shook his head. "I don't know how you do what you do." She shrugged. "Years of practice, mostly. She swiped at a tear. I'm glad you have your family now, though. He nodded. Me too. I came here because I owe you a huge apology. I never should have gotten so angry with you when you were just trying to help me. I shouldn't have interfered. I'm so sorry, Max. I never meant to upset you. I just wanted to help you have what I have. Siblings you love who cheer for you and support you in everything you do. What were your brothers like? They're good guys. Super close to each other. They convinced me to meet Mom, and she's fabulous. Now that I've gotten to know them all, I'll be visiting some. And they're going to come here. I don't have room for a lot of people, but I know of a good band B, and even a house that can be rented out. Max smiled. I can't believe how much my life has changed since you've come into it. I hope for the better. Definitely for the better. He leaned toward her and caught her lips with his. Will you forgive me? Only if you'll forgive me. He smiled. I guess we have a deal, then. Brushing his lips against hers once more, he sighed. I'm glad you don't hate me. How could I? She got to her feet. If you want to stick around for a few, that's fine, but I have to shower. I feel itchy from being outside and working for 2 days straight. No, I should go. I need to call my mom and let her know I got home safely. I never thought I'd say those words. She laughed, standing on tiptoe and kissing him once more. I'm so happy it worked out for you. Can I make you dinner tomorrow? I get off work at 4, and I could be here with food by 5. We'll finish the nice meal we started last week. As long as you're willing to cook for me, I'm always willing to eat it. He laughed. Where's Crypto? He just realized he hadn't seen the kitten since he'd gotten there. Oh, running around the house like he owns it. He's somewhere on this floor because he hasn't figured out the stairs yet, but I can never find him. He'll come out, and all will be well. He laughed. Very different than the kitten who used to sit in the palm of your hand and you had to force feed? Totally different little ferocious predator, for sure. Max headed for the door, looking back at her one last time before leaving. I'm glad you didn't find someone else while I was being an idiot. She laughed. It took me 24 years to find you. I'm sure it would take another 24 to find someone who was half as good. I'll keep that in mind. He walked to the door, a smile on his lips and a spring to his step. All was good with Kayla. Thankfully. Asterisk. The following day, Kayla worked hard to get as much done in the little cabana as possible. There wouldn't be much room, but that was all right. It was going to be perfect for any of them who needed a place to stay while they had the overnight shift at the Band B. If no one needed it, they could rent it out as another room as well. She quit working at 4 and went home to shower and change. She put on a pair of non-holy jeans and a t-shirt, knowing he really didn't mind if she didn't look feminine. She knew that Max was a one-in-a-million kind of guy, and she appreciated him for it. Kayla was in the kitchen refilling Crypto's food bowl for what felt like the millionth time that day when Max arrived. Now that the kitten knew where the food was, he was insatiable, never slowing down on eating.